Hey everybody, the bad pennies are back.
Here we are.
I'm Sho. This is my friend Alan, and we're going to talk about Know Thyself.
Yeah. You know, what came up for me when you sent the text about this possible
Topic,
subject,
yeah.
I remember a long time ago as a kid, and there was a neighbor's house, and over the den, they had this over the inside entrance or exit, I guess, from the den. There was this wood plaque, and it said, "Know thyself."
It's
a Latin,
it's a phrase that's been around for
it's a
a
Latin
very long time.
translation. Yeah. It's probably going back to the ancient Greeks and beyond.
I think it's very important, though.
Well, it's a concept that's been with us throughout all of our conscious days, I suppose, a million years or so, that somewhere along the lines, the human beings discovered that, again, in order to bring yourself fully to the world, one of the things you have to learn is who you are.
I think it's one of the most important things for you to learn.
Well, but it's weird because in this culture we tend to ignore that like altogether. I mean, we have interests and things like that, but if I asked someone who are you, they would probably struggle to describe who they are.
Most people associate their careers or their occupations when you say who are you.
They associate something external with who they are.
Yeah.
And I had a really good friend who associated how much money he made with who he was.
Right.
And in fact, I know a number of people who do that.
Okay.
And but it isn't.
No.
And the thing is that it isn't the difference with how much money you make does not determine what kind of person you are.
But knowing what kind of person you are could determine how much money you make.
It could. I certainly how much motivation you have to make money, for real. But
if you know yourself, then you know how you operate and how you can make money.
You can learn a lot of things about your interaction with the world when you are clear about who you are. And let's just sort of extend this a little bit further. It's not even just about who you are, but who is it that you want to be? Who is it that you want to be that you're not? Because once you're good at determining who you are, and by the way, we've talked about this and at least covered it scantily in a couple other videos, right? Which is there's a very important discipline that human beings must learn. All of us. Nobody gets off on this one. They have to learn how to tell themselves the truth.
Yes.
And we have become, because of our egos being so out of control, we have become so good at telling ourselves bullshit. Just lying to ourselves and pretending that something is other than what it really is. That we are someone other than who we really are. And the only thing that really, at least for men, arguably for women as well, but we're talking to men. So for men, everything that describes who we are shows up in our actions.
Everything that describes who we are shows up in our actions.
Everything.
Actions speak louder than words.
Actions tell you everything about who you are.
Yeah.
And we don't like to, because not all our actions are congruent with who we think we are. But there's a problem in that, because in order to justify all of that, you got to start bullshitting and telling yourself lies or making justifications or excuses and all kinds of things just to deal with and cover up a behavior that doesn't look good, right? Or it doesn't fit with your conception of who you are.
Okay.
We got to cut through all of that. If you really want to have the most powerful, full, honorable, committed, purposeful life as a man, then you're going to have to cut through all that shit and tell the truth about it. And that's a very, very basic discipline. being able to see reality and tell the truth about it. And the thing is that there doesn't have to be any emotion about it, but that's the problem. We'll start attaching all kinds of emotions. Oh, I feel bad, or this or that. And as you attach all these emotions, then you're going to want to protect yourself because it doesn't feel good. But if you took all the emotion out of it, then it just is what it is.
Okay.
And when you can look at it with objectively, to see something it just is what it is, a behavior, that you display in the world, all right, that you especially the ones you repeat, right, because they say everything. They'll tell you everything about who you really are. Then you can start to adjust. Then you can develop disciplines. Then you can start practices. Then you can start monitoring how you are, or not doing these kinds of things. But most importantly, you're going to get grounded, right? Because who you are right now isn't wrong or bad.
Okay.
I never look at who someone is in terms of judging them from a scale of the good ones are here and the bad ones are here, and we all fall in between. It just doesn't really in the world. It doesn't really work like that. It just doesn't, because the truth is, you just are who you are, and you are the best that you can be at this moment.
Can you change who you are?
Of course. If we couldn't, then this podcast would be irrelevant, right?
So in knowing thyself, you have to know who you are, know who you want to be,
and know the difference between
and know the
two.
difference, and not lie about it.
Not lie about
You
it.
have to be truthful with yourself. Okay.
And once you're truthful with yourself, and you can accept it.
Yeah.
You can accept it. Now, there are plenty of disciplines out there. There are plenty of seminars you can go to, self-help things.
Yeah.
And they have great things in them. And almost all of them will tell you the same thing. If you want to have real human transformation, you have to accept reality first.
You have to accept reality.
Yeah, because if you don't accept reality, then you're always fighting against the universe. You're fighting against the natural flow of energy. Because it's without acceptance, then there's still part of you that is lying. There's still part of you that isn't really telling the truth, right? I don't accept this. I won't believe it, blah, 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 blah. Accepting yourself, again, can take all of the emotion out of it and set you up with a foundation. A foundation that is you, who you are right now. Right now.
Yeah.
Okay? As perfect. Because who you are right now is perfect. You can't be any other you than who you are right now.
Okay.
And that's perfect.
That's great.
All right?
Yeah.
Does it mean that you have things to work on?
Yes.
Yes, of course it does. Of course it does. Does it mean that you do everything, the most efficient way or, the most powerful way? No. But realizing that it's you, all of it, right?
Yeah.
And the only sort of judgment that I would throw into there is when you look at the behaviors, you look at them in terms of the things that you do that work and the things you do that doesn't work.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow.
Because even the things that don't work are not wrong and they're not bad. They just don't work. And when I say they don't work because they're not congruent with that other vision, which is who you want to be, right? The man that you want to become. That vision of that man that you idolized as a kid, that who you thought that's the kind of man that you would grow up to be.
Correct. Okay.
Right? So you have that, and then you have now, who you are right now. And so you get the opportunity by telling the truth and accepting all of it, that you can start working on all of the little things one by one, not all at once, one by one, that don't work. And start doing, putting into practice a discipline that will cause a lifestyle change, a transformation that works, and just little things. and look, we I've been doing this work for a really long time, and worked with thousands of men and women, and some of them get, when we talk about this particular subject, they get very overwhelmed because they see a lot of things that aren't working, right? And they want to fix them all right, like yesterday. They want to fix them like now. I want this all done, and so, and it can be very daunting to think that there's all this stuff that you've got to work on that needs changing. But it does. It's the beauty of life is that it's not that hard. It just looks that hard, but it's not that hard.
But when you know yourself,
and you pick one thing
yeah,
that's important, and you work on it.
Okay.
And go back and watch our videos on practicing disciplines.
Yeah.
Because this is where those videos will become very important. And I'm pretty sure that I've mentioned in those that when you work on one thing and you begin to master it, you begin to improve yourself around it, right? Your character, your skills, all of those kinds of things. As those things improve, it's a really weird thing. Everything comes up. Everything comes up. So in the end, you may have transformed all of those things, but have only worked on a handful over time. So the best thing you can do is take one, just pick one, and work on that, and master it, and then take on another.
Yeah.
See where you're at. And again, tell the truth. Right?
To yourself.
To yourself.
And to others.
Yes. Know yourself. You have to know yourself to be able to do this.
Yeah. You do.
The truth. The truth. Not the ideal self, not the pie in the sky, visionary, movie star self, but
you really gotta take a look in the mirror. Like deep.
We call it being introspective.
Introspective.
I think we did a video on that too.
Not yet.
We haven't?
No. Introspective?
Sure? Yeah.
I can go back and look, but I doubt it.
Wow. I'm sure it came up.
May have.
It has to.
Not a full topic. Not a full episode.
Possibly not. But it is again another tool that allows us to embrace what's real.
Yes.
And accept what's real. Accept the truth. All right. It's not always pretty. The truth is about ourselves isn't always pretty, but that's okay. It's once you take all of the stigma and emotion out of it, it's just is what it is, and it leaves you with some things to work on that that you can take on. It's not that hard. Ultimately, I think it's a very simple process.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And very worth it. Right, but you got to do it. That's the for all of those lazy men out in the world, who don't want to do the work.
Yeah.
You figure out a way to hold yourself accountable to do it.
It's a very shallow but deep concept at the same time. Know thyself. I mean, there's plenty of times when you think you know who you really are, but you really don't. And it's not even thinking about lying. It's just you just don't know.
Well, because you haven't spent the time, and in most cases, you didn't spend the time because you didn't want to have to actually face the truth.
Afraid of the truth. Ooh.
Yeah, well, because then if you know the truth and face the truth, then you're going to have to own the truth.
I think it's a sign of maturity when you've started to even go down the path of learning who you are, that whole finding yourself period of life.
But here's an interesting thing, and this is what gives me a lot of hope for the world. I've been working with a number of really young men lately, and I'm talking about like 18, 19 to 22, 23.
Okay.
A great age. And a lot of these men know themselves better than a lot of the men that I know that are in their 40s and 50s.
Well, yeah, the younger men that exist now have
powerful and
they actually get therapy.
It's like they had 20 years of therapy, but they didn't.
Yeah,
and so and also open and willing to learn and embrace what they don't know, right? Because just because they're young and seemingly very wise for their age, It doesn't mean they know everything. In fact, they know very little. But knowing that you know very little is part of knowing yourself.
Yes,
right?
very, very important part.
Yeah, because that's the thing. We like to think men. When I say we, us men, we like to think that we know everything. We like to be right, and we like to think we know everything, and we hate not having the answer to something. So often we'll even bullshit or lie about an answer just because we don't want anyone to know that we don't know the answer.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, in this process, one of the most powerful sort of tricks or techniques or whatever, that it's not a secret, of course, you already know I don't do secrets, right?
Right.
Is a little thing that just is omitting the truth, which is, I don't know. I when I started using that, it was like this giant anvil that was on my shoulders, just giant, and weighing me down all of the time with all of the interactions. I didn't want anybody to know, like, if they'd asked me about a movie, yes, I saw it. Oh, it was a great movie. Oh, yeah. And they'll go like, didn't you like the part of, oh, yeah, that was great. I had no idea what they were talking about, right? That there was no way that I could tell them that I had not seen the movie, right? Because then that would say something about me personally that I didn't want the world to know. Or just any things where I didn't have the answer, I would just make it up. I would just make up an answer, or pretend like I knew. And that got me about so far until it was just, the burden of that was just so huge. So in shifting from that, one of the things that I embraced was being able to just say, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. In fact, sometimes when someone's talking and I don't understand what they're saying, I will actually stop them and say, look, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have absolutely nothing you're saying is registering for me. Can you either say it in a different way or help me to understand where you're coming from?
Right.
Because otherwise we're not communicating at all. You're just talking and I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah.
Other than, it's kind of like the Charlie
Can you
Brown
talk
thing.
to me like a sixth grader for a second?
Yeah. And nothing good comes from it.
Right.
Nothing good comes from it. And even if you can't figure out the communication mismatch, you've still communicated because you've told the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
At least they know that you're not getting what they're trying to communicate, right? And there's no shame in it. That's the whole thing. I felt so much shame in not having the answer, or not seeing the movie, or whatever, or having the experience, not knowing names. I'm terrible with names. I'm absolutely the worst. If I went on a talk show, they'd say, "Oh yeah, who'd you work with?" And I'd be like, "A bunch of people."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could come up with a couple of names, but still, I watch shows and I see some of these people who just know every single person that they've ever met and ever worked with for the last 40 or 50 years and every detail about it, and I'm going like, I barely get through, remember yesterday, right? Yeah. I do remember your name though, so
thank you. I was wondering.
Yeah, John. So, but. It's a very freeing thing to literally accept yourself as I accepted myself for who I was, with all of my merits. And there are plenty. There are a lot, actually. There's a lot of merits. So if I didn't have any merits, we wouldn't be.
You just said something real important, though. We're talking about know thyself, but what you just said was accept yourself.
Yes.
And I think that's a very important.
Well, it's the next step.
Yeah.
It's the next step, because you have to know yourself first, and as I said earlier, until you accept yourself, you can't actually change anything.
Uh-huh.
And all of those, as we were talking earlier, all the different disciplines that are out there, and they're all very good ones out there. Mm-hmm. Most of them are based on the concept that self-acceptance is the sort of the platform stage to transformation. That nothing changes until you've accepted what is already.
So even if you don't like the life that you live right now, you have to accept the life that you have right now.
This is the one you built.
In order to change it.
It's like, it's like, being unhappy that you're in a particular job. I was like, well, you took the job.
Yeah, you accepted it.
This is everything that you've done in your life has, is you. And that's the responsibility too.
Right.
We don't want to take responsibility
Right.
for the fact that
And then when you accept
here,
that bad job that you don't like, you won't be able to get free from it until you get good at it or get better at what it is that you're trying to do in order to get the better life and the
and
better
then if
job
they
that
don't
you want.
appreciate you, somebody will come along and offer you more money.
Right. There you go. But you got to be willing. You got to be valuable. You got to have the skills and the knowledge or whatever it is that you're doing in order for you to get in.
In everything that you do.
Bam.
And literally everything you do. And so, again, everything all comes back to who we are and accepting, who you are, and that you literally are the creator of your life, that everything around you created. And if it's something you don't like or it's not working, recreate it.
Yeah.
And you have the power. You literally, look, I don't, we just talked about the fact that I don't want these videos to become self-help videos, right? Because that's, that we're not a new age self-help.
We're not the gurus. We're not Tony Robbins.
No. But occasionally we'll throw out something, kind of sugary like I just did. But you do have the power, but it's more than just the power. It's the power that comes from doing the work. And doing the work is knowing who you are, accepting who you are, telling the truth about all of that, knowing who you want to be and what you want your life to look like, and then and seeing the things that are missing. Because if this is what you want, as I asked a man literally yesterday, who was talking about I asked him what he wanted, and he said, well, I want to be married and with my partner, we're going to, adopt children. Very noble thing, by the way. I think that adopting children is one of the most noble things human beings can ever do. And he's been with someone for a couple of years. And I said, so is this the one? And he was like, well, he started hemming and hawing. And I said, so why, after 2 years, do you not know? Why, because but that's the kind of question that we would avoid.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to know the answer or have to step up. Because the truth is, once you know the truth, you have to step up. It requires something of you, and it's another reason that we avoid the truth.
Yeah.
Because
some people don't ask the questions because they don't want the answer.
Right, and we don't want to take responsibility for the fact that we, drug our feet for 2 years, and it's still in nowhere land.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So, well, marry the girl then.
Yeah.
Just do it. If she's worth 2 years of your life, then maybe she is the one. But again, or not, but it's like make a decision.
Make a decision. Yeah, be honest with yourself. Stop lying. Know yourself and accept the situation.
Just get in,
and then make the changes you need to make.
And then start living your life. So just like all of this, as you can see, all of the background here, it's not there by accident. We didn't rent it.
No. This is not
we
blue
didn't
black screen
rent
or whatever,
it to put on a
screen.
studio. It was.
Yeah, these are all books that have been read mostly by
the
this
books.
guy. I borrowed a couple of them.
And the things. That's right. Did you return the last one?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very good about returning my things that I borrowed.
I don't keep track of those things. So.
Hey,
but thank you for being here and listening to us sort of ramble on about who we are.
Yeah. But it's very important for you to know who you are. In order for you to be anywhere near who it is that you want to be, you have to know where you're starting from.
So go do it.
Know thyself.
Yep. Go know yourself.
Bad Pennies, we'll be back.
We'll see you.